struggling. So I guess when I see that it's
There we go.
yay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to It's Tea Time, and it's time to spill the tea. I'm really excited to share with you my first guest for the Phoenix Chronicles, where people share their stories of how they rose from the ashes. And today, my guest is Candace Combs. Candace is an amazing person. I met her because she's my boss at In Symmetry Spa. She is the owner of In Symmetry Spa here in San Francisco, and she's also the CEO of Combs Business Consulting. And Candace has definitely been someone who has been through a lot in her childhood and lifetime. And so I really wanted her to share her story of her Phoenix Rising story. So, Candace, welcome.
Hey,
Hey,
so excited to be here.
I'm
And
excited.
everyone, T is the best esthetician and also astrologer that I've known. So,
Thank you. I
so
appreciate
lucky to have you part of our team. Yay.
it. Yay. I'm happy to be a part of your team. So happy.
You want me just to jump in?
Yeah, please do share your story with us.
I have numerous Phoenix Rising because this is about the third that I'm going through, my third iteration. I'll
Yeah.
start with my first. I started in Symmetry in 1999 with an ex-partner of mine, ex-partner and ex-partner. Um, we ran it until 2009, I think it was when I bought them out. So their history. In 2010, we had a shutdown. We didn't have all. It's sort of complicated because San Francisco is a very complicated place to do business, especially massage. The massage laws, which we've tried to change a lot of them, we've made a lot of inroads, but the massage laws were such that you got stuck into sexual trafficking, and which was insane. Like human trafficking and sex work. Those were the two sort of places they put you. So they made it almost impossible for a small business owner to open a spa. And when we had the spa, like we had a business, like we had all the things, but we didn't know we had to do this. Because a lot of times in San Francisco, you don't know what you don't know, right? So,
Yep.
um, and it's less like this now because I've been so vocal about how horrible it is to do business in San Francisco for a small business owner. So anyway, we didn't have all the proper permitting because we just didn't, because the process was insane.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden we get this knock on the door by the Department of Public Health department, and they're going, "Oh, you don't have all the permitting. Planning hasn't come in here." So I called planning, was like, "Hey, can you come in here?" And planning's like, "Well, no, I can't come in unless fire, roads." It triggered like 10 different agencies. Oh,
Wow.
it was so stupid. So we ended up moving from that location, finding out literally while I'm in the middle of moving, we find out that we could have stayed there, that the city was just wrong about everything, that we could have used the state license in this anyway. It was just so many crazy things. So
Yeah.
we were down, long story short, we were down for a year and a half.
Oh
And
my
I kept
gosh.
it going out of my house, out of my apartment. What I did was I stayed in contact with everyone. I was like, "We're coming back. Just give me a minute." But I signed one lease, and then what the city didn't tell us was that we went through all the proper channels and said, "Hey, are we good to go there?" The city was like, "Yeah, you're totally fine. You just have to get a conditional use permit." Well, come to find out, the city was suing this building and the building was suing the city. Well, guess what? No one had mentioned it to me
Oh,
until someone called me and said, "Oh, you have to pull this thing called the Sunshine Act." And if you're going to ask me, "Hey, Candace, what's the Sunshine Act?" Well, let me just tell you, it's this little bitty process that takes about a year and a half
oh my
of
God.
you paying rent on a building to find out just all the little things that's wrong with the building. And guess what? After you've paid rent for a year and a half in that building, they could come back and go, "Oh, so sorry, you can't actually be there." So what does that mean? That means big business is winning all day and small business is getting crushed. So anyway, we fell into that happened. But I ended up at the end of that journey, and this is my first Phoenix Rising. We found the greatest location with Tenderloin Neighborhood Development Center, which is where we are now.
Mhm.
And it was, they let me sign a 15-year lease. It was, everything was great. They gave us money to build out, which, by the way, never happens in San Francisco. So it ended up, the end of that journey ended up really amazing. And it sort of circles back to where we are now, because if I wouldn't be with Tenderloin Neighborhood Development Center, we would have shut down during this pandemic. So, everything there's always a reason, right?
Yeah.
So we had to build out, we did all the things, we rose, we came up out of the flame. I mean, people thought we were gone. We had been around at that point 10-ish years. And so we were pretty well known.
Mhm.
And, we were able to rise up from the flames and we came back. And then I tried to franchise about 2.5 years ago because we were doing so well that I was like, how do I make this bigger? Well, guess what? A small business owner who doesn't have a ton of money can't make it bigger in San Francisco. You just can't. It's not feasible. It's not fiscally feasible. So, and with all the laws that I just explained to you, we had been working on these laws, like, let's make it easier for small business owners to open things.
Yeah.
With all those laws still kind of in place, it was easier, but still, like, we're talking in $1 million endeavor. So we would have had to take on a lot of backers, which at the end of the day, I didn't really want to do that. So we looked at opening places in Texas. We looked at opening places all over the US. We're from New Orleans originally.
Mhm.
And what we came to was, okay, you know what? Let somebody reach out to me about franchising. And throughout the years, people had talked to me about franchising. And on paper, franchising looks amazing. Like, on paper, it looks like, oh, this is a no-brainer. Like, I basically find someone like you and you run it and I'm sort of your back end help. And then, I get a cut. And,
Right.
but we're there for you all the time. Well, guess what? In real life, it does not happen that way at all.
Yeah.
And franchising is a really expensive endeavor, which they don't tell you on the onset. Like, every year you have to be audited, which costs you $10,000 about.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, and you just never sort of recoup this money. So we ended up pretty in the hole. Like, we had opened up one franchise and we just hated it. It was just the process. We just really couldn't stand the process. We didn't like the role we were playing. We didn't like the role anyone was playing. So we pulled out of that. But that took a lot of legal money for attorneys to get you out of all this stuff. And so that was another one that I was like, oh my God, what am I about to lose everything? But then we rose up again. We got, all of a sudden, that was done. We got super busy and we were about to come out of all of it, about to pay off everything we had sunk into this.
Yeah.
When the global pandemic hit in March 2020. So here we are. We're a super busy spa, which you've worked with us for what, a year now?
About 2019 of November, so a little bit over a year. Yeah,
a little over a year. Yeah, it feels like you've been there forever, to be honest.
Seriously.
But so the global pandemic, we were on shutdown for 6 months. I worked with the city to come, to let us go up again. So we've been up since September. We were on doctor's notes. You couldn't work because you're an esthetician. And we're rising up again. Because I've been through it twice before, I know we'll come out of this bigger and better than we were before. But holy God, this one was a doozy. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I would love for you to share more about yourself is you are like an activist. You're a natural activist. I mean, you really have been standing up for small businesses during this time. I mean, you're tenacious. And like, so share a little bit about like how you feel about, because I feel like you really fit the definition of like a true activist, like fighting for what you believe in. So talk more about that, because I think that's really
Well,
interesting about like
I,
about you.
I'll head back a little bit. In
Mhm,
2010, when we went down, when we were asked, when we got a cease and desist, which was so ridiculous for a small business,
mhm.
the city of San Francisco's just doesn't. They're like the honey badger.
Yeah.
They just don't give, you know,
Uh-huh.
you
Yeah.
know the word.
Yeah.
So uh, the one thing I said when my friend Regina Dickendrazy, who's the executive director of small business for San Francisco, and thank you God for her, the one thing I looked at her and said, I don't want anyone else to go through this. This is so stupid and so stressful that a small business, especially a minority, like I'm gay and I'm a woman, double minority, should not be going through this when they've created such a great business.
Yeah.
So my what I've done, the inroads I've made in the past, now 11 years
Mhm.
are huge. These are things in 2010, when I was like, this is wrong. Do you understand that this is wrong? Now people are going, hey, you know what? This is wrong. Because
Yeah.
then they were like, oh, well, this is how it runs. Like no one cared. And I was like, yeah, but you're crushing good small businesses. So my passion is minorities in business and small business. I mean, those are my two passions.
Yeah.
And I've done so much. I'm the president of the Massage Council, and I started that because there was, there were numerous legislations that got passed by the Board of Supervisors, and there was this rogue uh, supervisor who hadn't passed anything, who had just been put on the board by the mayor, the late Ed Lee, God rest his soul. Put her on the board. She needed to pass something. So she decided to take on massage, and she screwed our whole industry. And we've been working to really turn that around. But,
Yeah.
democracy, it can be the democratic process can be very slow.
Yeah.
And, but now we've made some really huge inroads, especially during this pandemic. I do believe we'll come out of this and they will go, oh, you're right. Because small businesses in San Francisco have been crushed
Yeah.
crushed.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and especially massage businesses, health and wellness, like they really got crushed. And
Mhm.
you know, I'm all about having bars and having places you can go listen to music, dance, and all those things. I'm all about that. But if you don't have the other side of that, which is the health and wellness side,
Mhm.
which, Pilates studios, mostly women, yoga studios, mostly women, spas, mostly women, owned by mostly women. If
Yeah.
you don't have that piece of that health and wellness, then what's it all for? Like if you've just like I will say this in this entire thing, one thing I do like to speak about is that women got really crushed in this pandemic.
Yeah.
We went back to our roles of like, oh, we wash clothes, oh, we make dinner, oh, we take care of the kids, oh, the men really go, like it really showed how much more men make compared to women. Like I always think if I had In Symmetry, and we're a busy spot. If I had In
Yeah.
Symmetry, literally anywhere else than San Francisco, I would have four of them. I would own my own house. I would have, you know what I mean? Like I would be in this really different place. But for whatever reason, a progressive city like San Francisco keeps women down, just
Yeah.
keeps us down.
Yeah.
And they think they're not, and they are. And this is like, and I'm a white woman. That's so I come along with a lot of privilege, even though, I'm a butch white woman. So there's a lot in there, right? I'm not the typical sorority chick white woman who really has the privilege, straight white woman who really has the privilege. But black women, like you don't see that many black women owners in San Francisco. That is pathetic.
Yeah.
That
It
is
really is.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, how is that not talked about a little more?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things well, I know that when I did your chart, I saw that your North Node is in Aquarius. And so I was just like, part of your path is to be an activist, to fight for what you believe in. And you do that. I mean, like honestly, like I'm happy I'm on the good side of Candace, because I know that, like, you can be tenacious, fierce, and you are someone who will not back down. And I'm sure for a lot of small businesses in San Francisco especially, I mean, the work that you have done to get, like, during the pandemic, you were working so hard to get businesses back up and running, and I know it took a toll on you. Like, I know that you were just like, oh my gosh, I need to take a rest from everything right now. But I'm sure that there are so many people who have appreciated all the work that you have put in, for small businesses in San Francisco. And I know that, like, also you've been interviewed by newspapers, not just local ones, but even national papers. I mean, you really are a voice for small businesses, and a voice for the people, which I think is amazing. And I think that that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to have you share your story, because you're fearless. You are fearless. You put yourself out there, and yeah, like, you've got all these things. You're a butch dyke. You are a minority. Like, but you are not afraid to put yourself out there, which I think is so amazing. You've got your voice and you use it, and I think that you're a real role model for especially women out there. But you're a role model for anyone out there who feels like they don't have a voice too. And you're like, hey, don't be afraid of, like, sharing your voice, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, I get that. It's funny because I just assume, because of who I am, I
Yeah.
assume everyone comes like this.
No,
I'm
they
always
don't.
like, just call them up, just tell them they're wrong. People
Yeah.
are like, what?
Yeah, you go straight to, like, city hall and the government
Oh yeah,
officials, and you're
oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
yo.
Governor Newsom follows me. Like, it. I was in the New York Times last year. I was in Axios. I was in. I've been in the Wall Street Journal. Yeah, I mean, here I am, a woman who quit high school at 17 years old.
Mhm.
Uh, I did take some. I was really good with computers. My first program I did on a Commodore 64. It was DOS. I wrote a couple of programs. I was like 12 years old. And so computers and I really came together. I was an engineer in my last, you know, life.
I
So
didn't know this about you. Wow.
yeah, I worked at Microsoft,
Yeah, that's
and I wrote that out, and that's how I opened In Symmetry. Not with Microsoft stock. It was with another stock. It was a stock called Inner Shop. They were out of East Germany. They were one of the first businesses that came out of East Germany after the wall fell, which was really cool. Really,
yeah.
really cool. They did servers for oh God, I'm forgetting. I mean, I was literally like 25, 26 years old. Um, for e-commerce. They were that it's like the things we know that every day we go to Amazon, the things we know to just like be our life now.
Yeah.
We were just creating it then, which is really cool. Yeah, and working on Linux and working, just doing it was really fun, just doing all the things. But I knew my journey was more in health and wellness than it was really in tech. I just I did it for 5 years, and that was fun, and it taught me a lot. And that's why the spa is so tech savvy, because I like everything to be as quick as and as fast as possible.
Yeah.
But I'm an Enneagram 8. If you ever studied the Enneagram.
I don't know too much. But yeah. But tell, what's an Enneagram 8?
Yeah, it's me. And there's also another side of it, which would be Donald Trump, just a horrible person. You can have a bad Enneagram 8
Yeah.
with every number. There's a good and a bad, right? The
Right. Right.
the yin and the yang. So you can be horrific like Donald Trump, or you can be they call it a healthy 8. So I try to really be a healthy 8 and advocate for those things that I really believe in, which is, women in business, small businesses, making it easier for all of us,
Yeah.
working for the LGBT community, people of color, like, all those communities that have been marginalized and definitely need a voice. And I am, it's funny because people will say that to me. Are you really not scared at all? And I can honest to God tell you that no, I'm not scared.
Yeah, you're not scared. I mean, I've
No,
seen you deal with people and you're just you're in their
no.
face. You're
Mhm.
upfront, which I that's what I love about you, how upfront you are. It's
Yeah.
like, you don't hide anything about who you are. You give it to
Mhm.
people, however you dish it. And but at the same time, you have such a large heart. You're so caring, you're so giving. I mean, you are fierce, 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 but you're also like so tender and, so like kind-hearted and loving. And, you really are, someone who is out there to like protect your fellow humans, your fellow people. And, that is really who you are. And really,
Yeah.
that's really special to be so fierce and fearless and tenacious, but to also have this huge heart.
Thank
I
you.
think that that's a very special combination.
Thank
Um, yeah. So, like moving forward, what do you see, like professionally, personally, like moving forward for you? Like what's this dream or like what are you working on for yourself?
And I'm working on a lot of stuff. I mean, working with you is great, like doing stuff like this, doing videos. I will say all the stuff that I did in the summer to get the health and wellness industry back up took
Yeah.
a lot out of me. That was like
Yeah.
years of hitting my head against the wall with San Francisco. San Francisco should have let us up a lot sooner
Yeah.
than they did. And it just all got ridiculous, right?
Mhm.
So that I sort of taken a step back from city issues. I mean, I still obviously I still do some stuff. I'm on a couple of boards. I'm on a national board called they just changed the name. It's Small Business for America's Future, and then I'm on NEMBA, which is Northeast Mission Business Association. I merged it with my other Merchants Association, MCMA. So I do a couple of things now, but it took a toll, which you already know that. Like it took a toll on me. So what I'm looking for in the future is to maybe not do as much of that.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm always going to be a voice going, this is ridiculous. But what I want to do is write more, make videos, like really put it out there where I'm not hitting my head against the wall, where I'm actually just saying, hey, you know what? If you kind of did it this way, that would kind of make more sense for all of us.
Right.
And what I really want to do, Combs Business Consulting, our goal is to help small minority health and wellness businesses and help them really thrive and succeed. We've been at this 20 years. We will survive, this pandemic. It's our third time going through something like this. And uh the spa will be a lot smaller coming out of this just because it just stops making sense after a while.
Yeah.
But I love my wellness spa, and it's one of those things that uh if if the dominoes line up and we're meant to open this version of what we're doing right now with the wellness spa in other places, we will. If not, we'll just keep this one here and
Mhm.
I'll go on and sort of keep doing what I've been doing, help other minority businesses grow and educate people on health, wellness, and small business. I mean, that's my passion right there. Just educate the public on how to let us thrive. Because without small business, without health, wellness, and small business, your community's not going to thrive.
Absolutely. And especially during this time, people need self care, people need healing, people need, what you're offering.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important. Part of the reason why I do these videos is because I know people need to hear these stories of how others have been able to overcome things. It's healing for people, it's inspiring for people. But even for myself, I work in this industry, but I'm just like, oh God, I need more self-care right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so for me, I totally understand how important this industry is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm of course I'm on your team. I'm on the In Symmetry team, and I love working with you and Dave. You guys really do. I mean, when it comes to like the definition of health and wellness, you guys, I really feel embody that. You know, it's like it's real, it's authentic, it's not this fake foo-foo. You go into this really beautiful environment, but behind the scenes it's, you know, chaotic. And you know, like from the ground up, like you walk in, everybody who works there, they're healers, they're amazing people. You guys are amazing people. It's peaceful there. It's not, there's like no drama. You really do create, like, you know, a place of wellness, a place of like relaxation and rejuvenation. And so I really feel I'm so fortunate that I found you guys, because I've worked in this industry for almost 20 years now, close to 20 years. And I, you know, I had my own business, and I felt like my business was really close to yours, where it was like authentic, real, rejuvenating, healing. And I've worked at other spas too, where it's more like you put on the front that it's calm and relaxing and whatever. But really, it's not for the technicians. It's not that way behind the scenes. So I really love and appreciate what you've created. And moving forward, I know you're going to have so much success because, you know, you've got grit. You work for what you want, and you will do whatever it takes to get there. And I know it can be exhausting because, you know, you're a passionate person. You put your all into things.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you know, we are so lucky to have you be an, you know, an active a voice for all of us. So I just wanted to, you know, let you know that, you know, I don't think it goes unseen. So
Thank you. That means
yeah.
so much. And I feel the same about you. Like
Oh,
you, everything you see in me is what's in you. Like,
oh, thank
you know, and I love working with you. Like one thing about the people we bring on to In Symmetry and our next iteration of In Symmetry is going to be people like you, because it's your business as much as it's mine. It
you.
really is. It's not, yeah, sure, I might buy your products and do all that, but it's really your business as much as mine. And I want everyone to feel that way. I don't want a power dynamic. I hate power dynamics. Like, you know, in our next, where we're going is within symmetry is everybody's going to have, it's like everybody's getting a stake in it, basically. Like it's all of our business. And I want us all to enjoy being there. And I want it to be, it is a healing space. And that's what we want at the end of the day. I want everybody to walk in and feel rejuvenated. I love that word because that's why I do it. Like it is a labor of love. And it's my favorite thing. And when I think about like at the beginning of this pandemic, none of us knew where we were going. We're all like, what the hell do we do? Do you continue being an esthetician? Do I continue with the spa? Like all the questions were there, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I think what I came back with was, no, the spa stays. The spa is the beacon of light. Like it just holds it. And it just says, okay, guys, go figure out these other things. Like I've always done, you know, 2 or 3 things and the spa. Yeah. So that's my enjoyment, right? Here's the spa. Let me go do these other things. And that's what I want to keep on doing. And I just want to empower all the employees to say, hey, this is as much yours as it is mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. 100%. So is there anything else you want people to know before our session ends? Because I don't know, I feel like you always have, you know, really great messages. So anything else people should know about you or anything inspiring that you want to share with others?
The thing I would say is we are going to get through this. You know, I know it feels less bleak now that Joe Biden's in charge. That feels way, yeah. And they're not crazy conspiracy theorists running our government. That was scary. Now that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are in charge, that it feels there's hope in the air. But you know, Trump left him a mess. So we just got to hang in there because there is the other side of this. Because when you think about last March compared to the one coming up, there's 2 different things. Last March, we were like, we're going to be in this for the rest of our lives. Yeah. This is a apocalyptic novel we're never getting out of. Like we literally thought that, right? There was no vaccination. I mean, just everything was really bleak. And then even in the summer, it was like, oh my God, come on. But now we are literally at the end. And the biggest thing is get those vaccinations. Please get those vaccinations. That's going to stop everything. And it's going to bring our lives back to, some sort of normalcy. I'm not going to say, the one thing I will say is we don't want it to go back to what it was. We don't.
No.
Because what it was wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
Now we need to move forward with a better version of who we are and what we want to become. Like, I know that right off the bat. Like, I want to go forward with, okay, this is the new me. I shed the old me. I'm ready to go out and keep creating. And that's the other thing. Keep creating. Don't stay stuck in what you're doing. If anything COVID has taught you, don't stay stuck in what you're doing. And call out those things that aren't working. Oh my God, call them out. Yeah. Yo, that's not working. Goodbye.
Yeah. Amen, sister.
Woo, amen.
I mean, honestly, like, you have this energy. Like, I'm just like, okay, what can I go and like be a voice for? I mean, I this is why I'm doing this, but it's like you have so much energy and passion that I feel like it pushes others to do the same. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate this so much. I know you and I are going to be doing more things together, more videos. We're going to be having more conversations, but I really appreciate you, sharing your stories, actually, not even just one, but sharing your stories. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how your story unfolds. And I just want to thank you again for all of this.
You're so welcome, and you're on the journey with me, so you'll know how it unfolds.
For sure.
I love you, lady.
I love you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.